They're trimming to treat. AEP Ohio has spent more than a year trimming trees and plants around power lines and delivering them to the Columbus Zoo in the wild. And in return, it's helping the animals' diets and giving them beneficial enrichment. Photojournalist Sobnosky shows us the impact it's been having at the wilds.
We're showcasing our Trim to Treat program, which is a partnership not only between AEP Ohio and the wild, but also the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium.
The forestry team from AEP has been providing cut browse for our animals.
You got a tickle? Hi, baby girl.
We take the branches from our tree trimming, which is part of our line clearance operations.
So as they do their work, they have to do this trimming anyway.
And instead of running them all through a chipper and turning them into mulch.
Some of those plants, not all of them, but a select species there would be great for animal food. These are Sichuan takin, goat antelopes from the mountains of Asia. We had both. We had some elm, I think, is in there. With some Bradford pear, yeah. This is literally the biggest group of these animals outside of mainland China. Willow is probably top notch. That's probably their favorite of what we've got.
That's a girl. Come here, Liu. Come on, Liu. Come on, good girl.
The biggest consumer here, and the one that we try the hardest to provide browse for, is the giraffe.
It's great. I mean, to be able to have the opportunity to interact with animals, knowing that they're benefiting from something that we are providing that's part of an operation that we're doing to keep the lights on for our customers.
Some of our animals really need the browse. They need that high fiber, low sugar kind of food. When we developed the list originally, it was developed with the zoo's nutritionist. And so we took an idea of what they would come across and cut and made sure we were choosing the things that were safe for the animals. It's nice to see them enjoying something new and different out there.
This land out here at the wilds was once used by AEP to harvest coal to generate electricity. Now we've got the wilds here.
Gus, he's not even a full year.
We are the only place outside of Africa that has fifth generation animals being born. And again, we think it's because of this space that we have to work with. And this is it's not browse, but it's another part of what AEP did for us. It's turned out to be a really good thing for rhinos.
And the fact that we're bringing tree trimmings out here for the animals to benefit them, it's just a nice circle.
It's great. It's really, especially for the giraffes. That's the one we worry about the most because all they do is browse.
Now, a story of survival, endurance, and overcoming crushing odds for your Memorial Day. Lieutenant Colonel Paul Carey spent nearly 8 years as a POW after being shot down over North Vietnam. But what happened after he got home also tested him to his limit.
I started out with nothing, and now I have what you see, 907 acres here.
For this old fighter pilot, the journey from freedom here to liberty was nowhere near as straight as the plane flies.
What's the word you'd use to describe your life's journey?
Perseverance. I never give up. Oh, I love this land.
Growing up on a farm in Spencer, Ohio, Paul Carey's always been close to the soil. In fact, he was a student at OSU's Agricultural College when a fraternity brother offered a plane ride, and his true calling took flight.
I was hooked. He said, you laughed the whole way, uncontrollable laugh. I guess I just enjoyed it, but yeah, that hooked me.
Fast forward 10 years. Carey's the first man to fly the Air Force's new Phantom jet over Vietnam. 69 days and 70 combat missions later.
We should have never gone in.
His is the first Phantom shot down, June 20th, 1965, Father's Day.
I got shot out with so many G's that it crushed 3 spinal processes in my back. I got captured real quick.
His book, The Strength to Endure, chronicles the next 2,795 days and beyond.
They tore my right shoulder out till I passed out, and a lot of people, they would hang him upside down and use a car fan belt to beat him.
Nearly 8 years of beatings, torture, deprivation.
You're right, it's difficult to describe a POW's emotional ups and downs as the days turn to weeks, then to months, and then the months to years. How did you keep from getting too low?
Well, there were times when you did get low, but you just pulled yourself up by the bootstrap.
Freedom came February 12, 1973, when Paul and 70 POWs marched out of the notorious Hanoi Hilton prison. After all those years, he came home to a wife who wanted nothing to do with him.
I put my arm around her and I said, well, I'm sorry I took so long to get back. And she pushed my arm around away from me and said things have changed.
Soon divorced, he taught for a while at the Air Force Academy. No longer able to fly. Captivity had damaged his eyesight.
That has to be such a hard thing to reconcile.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
In fact, there's people that washed out of pilot training, they took it so hard because that's all they ever wanted to do. And then when I found out I couldn't fly anymore, it was devastating. Because that was my first love.
Life went full circle in 1983 when Paul and his second wife, Kathy, bought a farm back in Spencer. 26 farms and properties led up to his spread in West Liberty. And then his second marriage ended. He was left alone again.
How would you describe your mental state today, having been through all you've been through?
Oh, my mental state, I think, is excellent because now I have a reason to get up in the morning and my mind is challenged.
Fighter pilot, POW, marriages, divorces, bad and good investments. Through the crushing lows and the soaring highs, the level ground has always been the land and his faith.
I just learned that God blesses those who obey his commandments.
Hard-fought freedom indeed. And the old flying farmer wouldn't have it any other way.
And it's easy to give up, but it's hard to press on to endure. And I think I inherited that from my father.
Red, White, and Boom returns in just over 48 hours. 500,000 people expected to flood downtown Columbus Friday night, and that includes boaters in the Scioto River. Steve Levine on your side tonight with the plans in place for the water.
Friday night, more than 500,000 people are expected to be downtown for the fireworks. Many of them will be right here on the water, and sheriff, police, and fire boats will be right alongside with them, making sure everyone's safe and don't run into any troubled waters.
This is quite possibly the best seat you have for the fireworks.
Commander Stephen Withrow with the Franklin County Sheriff's Dive Team back on the Scioto River, preparing for the return of Red, White, and Boom. After 2 years away, it's expected even more kayaks, boats, and canoes will hit the river for this year's fireworks show.
When you're finding your position to watch the show, give yourself room between your vessel and the vessel next to you. It's because when you're anchored, you're going to sway a little bit.
Sheriff dive teams will join patrol boats from Columbus Police and Columbus Fire here on the river Friday night to make sure everyone's safe and follows the rules.
It's illegal to operate a boat while you're inebriated. Equally as important, make sure that there's a personal flotation device on that boat for every single person.
Boaters also being reminded to be on the lookout for floating logs and debris in the water and warning buoys near the falls you may not see after the sun sets.
Fairly substantial danger to boaters who aren't familiar with the river.
Just as dangerous watching this show from a boat that's too close to the fireworks fallout zone around Cosi, which could put you in danger of dangerous ash and embers from falling fireworks.
We want to make sure that boaters aren't catching those ashes. Again, a boat fire can be very, very dangerous.
Simple safety tips the dive team will remind you about at the boat ramp before you head into the water to make sure you enjoy the Red, White, and Boomers safely. On your side in Columbus, Steve Levine, ABC 6 News.
Lance is a rock star blood donor, always ready to stick his neck out as long as a tennis ball and the crackers keep flowing.
This handsome hero is almost 7 years old, and he's about to do something that will help newborn giraffes, ultimately saving their lives. It's a tall order, but after a quick mic check, Lance is ready to go.
Ready? And the magic happens.
A quick jab.
He makes it look easy.
And this life-saving blood donation reaches new heights.
Sometimes when giraffe calves are born and they don't nurse straight away, they often don't get that immune support that is in the colostrum of the mother.
She says the 12-minute donation will yield almost a liter of blood, but more importantly, plasma. That's the liquid component of blood that guards baby giraffes against infection.
These plasma transfusions are critical in some of these giraffe calves that don't get that colostrum, and they get this really important immune boost that really helps them thrive in their early stages.
Lots of people can't stand the sight of needles, so how do you get a giraffe to donate? Heart of Africa keeper Sherry Smith says it all starts with this bright orange tennis ball.
They have pretty good color vision, so they see this bright orange thing and they know, okay, I'm working. And then that just keeps him stationed here. And then The crackers are his absolute favorite. So he pretty much will do anything for crackers.
And not just any cracker. We're talking light rye crisp because it's low sugar.
He also trusts us. So he knows when he sees us that good things happen, crackers get in his belly.
The whistle lets Lance know he did the right thing.
And then he gets a cracker.
Donation complete, and Lance indulges us with a few selfies. It's not a tall tale. This modest four-legged hero will stick his neck out again in another month.
Oh my gosh, what a superstar.
I'm Terry Sullivan reporting.
Regina Fuentes grew up in Columbus schools, and she's been teaching there all her career, a passion that will stay with her forever.
My name is Regina Fuentes, and today would have been the first day of my 24th year of teaching.
But instead of a classroom, Regina Fuentes was in a conference room.
This isn't what I should be doing right now. Normally, if this was my first day of school, I'd be welcoming smiling faces into my room. We'd be talking about plans. I'd be learning who they are.
Sadly, not this year. Fuentes was born in 1975, the last time Columbus teachers went on strike.
I went to all Columbus City schools, Northtown Elementary, Sherwood Middle, Champion.
But it was at Northland High School that she found her passion.
I've always loved school. I've always loved my teachers. So when an opportunity came around to join the Northland Teaching Academy, which they were recruiting out of 8th grade at Sherwood Middle School, I signed up right away.
Now, 23 years later, she teaches English at Eastmoor Academy with a focus on historical fiction.
Rain, wind, won't say with princes if it shall go well.
Her students love her.
Even if it's the same subject, it's always new. It's always inviting and a new challenge for me to start over with a new group.
With the new school year off to a challenging start, I asked her to pick a saying that would inspire her and her students.
The one that means the most to me is, "You're capable of more than you know." And the reason for this is because I have so many stories in my time teaching of students who did not believe in themselves, and just by the end, and it makes me emotional, they do amazing things. I just have so many stories like that where these kids show you so much hope. That's teaching.
Hope of getting back in the classroom.
So.
I'm Terry Sullivan reporting.